Alright, so we're going to be using GIMP today, and you know, for the past few months I've been doing these little vintage retro kind of tutorials, right? So today we're going to go for more of a, I guess, an exaggerated look of it, like through a viewfinder or something, with kind of like the grindy, grungy edges with a cross-processed center, right? So we're going to be using Miss Chase here as an example. She's the girl from The Ring, you know what I mean? She's the one that would come out the well and through the television all creepy like. So we're going to be using her face as an example. So anyways, let's go File, New, and make sure your image is or your starting canvas is a square. So 1024 is fine. So 1024 by 1024. Let's go and make a transparent layer. Let's grab your rectangular select tool on the tool dialog for it. Let's check rounded corners and bump it up fairly high, maybe about 60 or 70 or so, right? And pull from the top left to the bottom right. Give yourself a few pixels to work with, just as long as it's fairly proportionate along the edges. Okay, select, invert, fill that area in with black. Alright, now let's go ahead and duplicate that layer one time. Let's make a transparent layer. Let's go to filters. Select, feather. Feather this transparent layer we just made. About 100 or so, maybe more, maybe 120 or 130. Press OK, and fill that area in. Fill this feather area with black. All right. Select none. The black image we just duplicated in the middle, the second image, I mean, let's go ahead and blur that area just a little bit, like filters, blur, Gaussian blur, right? And blur that about like 15 or 20 or so. Now we kind of have this nice little blur to a, not really a hard edge, but more of a blur to a solid black. All right. Now let's make another transparent layer and put that transparent layer in the very top, and let's select the color of gray. Alright, now let's fill that color in. Let's go to filters, noise, RGB noise, uncheck independent RGB. Just max out your sliders. So same thing with alpha, just max it out pretty high. Press OK. Select this layer as, the mode selection for that layer, put that as soft light. Now you have this nice little kind of grungy, like grimy, staticky to a, you know, blur to a, like a hard edge. All right. Now let's grab some brushes. I'm gonna put a link description down below to some grungy brushes at DeviantArt or wherever. Just put that in your .gimp 2.6 folder. You know, just hold Control H, go into there, and just drop your brushes into there. On Windows, I'm not too sure where it's at. If I can find the information, I'll put that in the description down below. But anyways, so let's make a transparent layer first. Now let's grab some brushes, right? The grungy brush. Okay. And make sure your brush is selected, and make sure your color is set to black as well. Right? And go ahead and upsize the brush fairly high. Yeah, I tend to get a better result that way. Let's go back here, my layer dialog real quick. Okay. Like that. Maybe a little bit right there. Not too much though. Like just kind of give it like the hint that there's some grime around the edges. Doesn't really need to be like overly exaggerated. Let me just switch to this. Get another brush. There we go. That's a better one. Okay. That might be a little bit too much, but you kind of get the idea. Alright, now with that that grungy layer we just made, we're gonna go ahead and drop that down below just a bit, below all of the black layers we made, right? And if you need to, just go ahead and lower down the opacity to it if it's too much. like so. All right. Now let's go ahead and drag our image into the GIMP. Convert if it asks you to. Now let's select. Well, make sure that the image that you're working with, the picture, is below all of these layers, except for the first canvas layer. Right. Now let's scale it down a little bit. Let's get the scale tool. Right. Click on it. Make sure your chain is checked so that the chain is actually connected. So when you scale it, you get a nice proportioned scale, like so. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and move the image, but sometimes when you use the move tool, it'll grab the wrong layer. So let's use the move tool, and let's go to the tool dialog for it, and it says move active layer. Make sure you select that. Right. Now let's scale her down just a little bit more. And let's move her one more time. That's about right. All right, now let's go back up to the grainy layer, the layer with all the the static on it. Right, we're going to remove the center of that. So we just want the edges to be kind of grainy, not the center. So let's grab our rectangular select tool. Again, just pull from the top left to the bottom right. Give yourself a few pixels to work with. Okay, now let's go to select feather. 135 is fine. Press OK. Hit your delete key, and that should remove the center. Now you have this nice little faded grain to the grungy outer edges. Okay. Select none. Now let's go ahead and go down to our picture here, and let's go to colors, curves, and blue in the channel selection. Raise it up fairly high. The edge on the on the right side, just lower that down quite a bit. The center can lower down as well. Green, make like kind of like a semi S, like a really light, a kind of wave, I guess. I usually lower the centers down for some reason. It tends to look better for me. Red, the same thing. Right, and with red, I notice if you lower on the center quite a bit, you kind of get like a nice colder look. If you raise it up in the center, you get more of a warmer look, right? All right, and value, I usually just raise the center only, fairly high. And this is optional. This is what I do because I like to duplicate the layer to give that over contrasted look. So I'll raise the center here, press OK, duplicate the layer. Then the mode selection of the duplicated layer, set to soft light. Now you have this nice, really, the colors really pop out this way. All right. So anyways, let's go ahead and that looks good to me. Let's go ahead and just save it. File, save as. Let's see, let's put it on our desktop. Save as a ping. Save. Export. Save. All right. All right, so here's the before, and there's the after. Nice little grungy border, before and after. So it's real simple to do, real easy. Kind of get the idea.